everybody. Welcome back to a moderately good podcast. I am here today with my friend Norm. Say hi, Norm.
What's up, everybody?
Norm, we've already established that Norm's voice is buttery. Very buttery.
Smooth.
So anyways, dude, I'm so glad to have you fucking come do this.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate you inviting me.
Hey, and I really appreciate you rescheduling.
Yes, I was the first cancellation also of the podcast. Maybe
That I canceled?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hoping not to make that a habit.
So I was the first for something at least.
Well, the problem is that we really hadn't vetted this whole thing out, and Joe couldn't make that particular one. And so I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, and I don't have any equipment. And Scott nobody could help. And I was just like, all right, well, this is obviously going to happen today. So
throw Joe under the bus.
I'm not throwing Joe under the bus. He's got a job. Everybody had stuff they had to do. There was more. I mean, we're just starting this. So I'm paying him in food and that Liquid Death.
It was totally cool.
Shout out to Liquid Death.
Shout out Liquid Death. Hydration at its finest right here.
Wow. Norm, what's that you're drinking over there?
I'm drinking this nice tall can of Liquid Death.
What is it though?
The greatest hydration / mountain water that you can possibly ever get.
So it's a beer?
It's not a beer. That's the fun part. It's actually just water.
It's vodka.
No, it's just water.
Wait, so it's water and what though?
H2O and nothing.
Huh. Liquid Death. Yeah. I like that can. It makes you appear like you're drinking. It's great for people that don't drink.
Makes me look tough.
Tough. I like that. So let's talk about some cool stuff real quick.
Sure, why not?
So do you want me to pull up your little top your recommendations of shoes that people should kind of pick up, what you were looking at for anybody that's listening that happens to be a sneakerhead?
We could do that, certainly.
I just want to talk about it. We just go over real quick because I thought it was a real cool list, and I thought there were some really great, maybe some people might think underrated shoes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sure.
That if there's not a billion bots, or if you know somebody that deals in shoes or something that you might possibly get, or you just might take another L like all the rest of us.
I feel for everybody out there because I've been
There's
in the
a lot
same
of
boat.
L's.
There's a lot of L's. I mean,
it feels like I'm in junior high again and I'm trying to date girls.
There's some real memories that are popping up sometimes from these situations and scenarios.
Nightmares,
sure.
night terrors.
I'd like to not revisit those. If
all right, do you have the list, or you want me to hand it to you?
Hand it to me.
Okay.
Yeah,
I come prepared. Hang on.
I smoke too much weed, so I forget these things.
What do you mean? Do you forget? You forget what you wrote me?
I forgot what I wrote.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Here you go. And just I just real quick, I just want you just kind of talk about each one and kind of why. And if you want to throw in some, I know at the bottom you have an honorable mention. So if you want to throw in the honorable mention.
Oh yeah.
And I might just have questions about it, but just it's a great list. So I wanted you to kind of share it.
No, it was cool. We talked, beforehand for everybody out there just about some of my favorite shoes and, different things. And one of the things that you asked was about these 5 that I'm kind of looking at. And the first one was the SB Dunks, the P-Rods that came out recently. I happen to know somebody. I know a guy that got a pair.
Yeah.
Lucky bastard. And
I bet he felt like he won the fucking lottery.
I told him that he actually did win the lottery because that was a big W.
Do you know why that's such a monumental shoe for me?
Why is that?
It's the first shoe that I've ever won in a raffle, like a raffle like that, where, so for people that don't know, No Comply does raffles on sneakers, and they donate money to Awesome Food Bank. So you have to buy raffle tickets, and then that money goes to Awesome Food Bank. So it's great. And I actually won a pair in that process. It's the first shoe that I decided you're going to be like, oh, you're such I'm going to wear it. It's real hard for me to if you pull a $1,200 shoe, it's really hard to go, I'm just going to wear that. You know what I mean? Especially when it's going to go up. But in the back of my mind, I always hear PJ Tucker and he's like, wear your shit. You know what I mean? And so I've got a new lease on life of like, yeah, fuck it. I'm going to wear it. Like, you know what I mean?
It's a dilemma for many a sneakerhead.
Yeah.
Whether or not to wear your shoes. I'm a big fan and I always push for everybody to wear your shoes, you know, but to each his own. I understand why many people don't. I have been known, boo, to resell shoes. I know it's a horrible thing for some people.
What do you mean resell shoes?
Well, you know, you win something and you go and turn around and flip it. And...
Look, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If there are shoes that I just don't want, but why I'm going to leave a $20 bill on the ground? Like, why am I going to turn down a chance to like flip a shoe?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like somebody else gets that shoe that really wants it.
Yeah.
They'd be buying it from, you're putting one back. It's like you're letting it back into its wild, like you're releasing it again.
Back into nature. Sweet shoe.
You know, no. Okay. Hey, we can't get too far down this road because we actually have to like do a podcast that other people would listen to. Oh, you got locked out of my phone.
Yeah. I got locked out of your phone.
Okay. I don't even know who I am. You sure this is my phone? I'm just kidding. There you go.
Definitely. The second on the list was the Jordan 1, the low shattered backboards.
Oh, like
tell me you didn't see that shoe and immediately put that on your list.
There are shoes like personally for me, there are shoes as soon as I see them, I'm like I really got to have that shoe. And it, depending on like how expensive it is and stuff like that, like is how hard I'll kind of go after it. But there's been like shit I had to let go that was just like, and it's not even like big shoes. It's shoes that like I usually would have got in the past. But like I said, it doesn't seem like sneakers is as friendly as it used to be. You know, it seems like people are taking a lot more L's for whatever reason that is. You know what I mean? And so I miss out on shoes.
Bots. That's definitely why.
Hey, so when I say do it like Barry White, whatever you just said, I want you to repeat it like Barry White. So like if I go like do it like Barry White.
Bots.
I like it. Okay, anyways, keep going.
Yeah.
Shatter backboard. It's great shoe. Great shoe.
Everybody knows though, as soon as you saw that come up on the lineup, that the resale value was going to go through the roof because the highs are still one of the most coveted shoes, especially for Jordans. That's still one of my grails. If I can get my hands on it,
like the original,
the original with the 1.0 is definitely a grail for me. Top 5, a need if I get my opportunities.
I have those patents.
You have those patents,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, and I didn't literally steal them, but this kid like gave them away, and so
you were like, hey, I'll give him a home.
Yeah. I'll take care of him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He didn't want you. He's selling you. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're his child. Like he bought you from the original.
Be cherished here in my home.
Yeah. Anyways, go ahead.
I never got the OG highs, like I said, so I definitely want to get those lows, and I'll be on the lookout for those. I believe they come out in end of August.
That sounds about right.
I think that's what it was looking at. My number 3 on the upcoming is the patent leather bread ones. They're a bread, they're patent leather. What else do I have to say? Nah,
it's like, it's pretty understood.
Some people aren't really fans of the patent leather look. I think they're crazy. I rock patent leather on the 11s for sure.
You're rocking that shit right now.
I'm rocking it right now. There's a great story we'll talk about later, I'm sure. With the breads, everybody's got their favorites. That's definitely my favorite colorway of any Jordans. And if I can get my hands on those bread ones, it's happening. There's no resale happening for those for sure. That's staying in the collection.
Do you know? Can I say really quick? Something that I don't want to say like I value about our friendship, but it's definitely like a perk. Is that like we'll always text on big shoes. We always text each other and go like, "Hey, you gonna get this shoe?" And you're like, "Yeah, nah." You go, "Hey, will you get it like a 9.5 for me?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like we know you wear a 9.
9, yeah.
Right? And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Yeah, bro, I'll hook you up." You know what I mean? And like, if we just start like a big ass club where we kind of all like do it for each other, I don't know, like.
Obviously there's folks that go out there and have their friends and family and everybody go, do stuff for them. But yeah, you and maybe one other person, I think that on a regular basis are always looking out for me. Hey,
really quickly, shout out to my client, John. John is such a cool dude. And
what up, John?
And at a older age, not being like really a sneakerhead, took interest in being a sneakerhead. And like somehow now we talk about sneakers all the time, and he does the same thing for me, which is like really great. And I do it for him too. Like I always ask him like, hey, do you want this shoe? Blah, blah, blah. But he's so great out there. Shout out to John.
What up, John? Let's say our number 4 on the list is the Cool Gray 11s.
Oh man, such a good shoe.
Great shoe. The re-release coming this year.
Is that a high or that's a high, right?
That's the high.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the Christmas shoe this year.
Such a great shoe.
I didn't do the Christmas shoe last year, the Jubilee.
Yeah.
I wasn't really a big fan
I
of that.
remember you talking about that.
You know, I kind of let that one slide. It had a pretty decent resale value, it looked like at first, and it's kind of dropped precipitously over
Not
the
my
year.
fucking size I had.
But it's because they kept releasing. I think they had a pretty large release on that shoe. So anyways, Christmas releases for me most years are a must have. A couple years ago, we had the re-release of the Concords. I think that was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
With the 45 on the back. And we had to cop those. So Christmas release this year for the Cool Gray 11s, definitely. And then number 5, the Jordan 1 OG low in a neutral gray. Again, I know a guy. Got lucky. Got him.
Hey, you know what's so messed up?
I know a couple guys that got these actually.
You know what's so messed up about that is back in the day, you could get it on when they did like a sneaker
exclusive pass.
It's exclusive pass or whatever. Yeah. You could buy them that day and then you could buy them again.
Yeah.
And now you can't do that no more.
Nope. They're cutting you off. There was a thing for that was released today. I don't know if it was released today, but I saw it today online talking about Sneakers app and how they're going to do their exclusive pass for people. And what they had previously released in there was that they talked about if you are a regular user. So the app was tracking folks to see how often you were visiting the app, how long you were staying on the app. Were you checking out the new daily features? Because daily they'll put a new story on there, you know, what someone.
And those people wearing. Get preference?
Well, if you were checking the app constantly, the app was recognizing it and it was storing that data. And so folks that were regularly on the app got a higher entry point, basically, or got more access to being an exclusive member. But now, because those parameters were released recently, people started realizing that. And so they would just go and hit the app and let it play through all the different things so that they could have basically the record that they went through and stayed on the app.
Yeah.
So now Sneakers is changing it, and they're kind of doing a variation of things, how much you're buying, you know, all these things, but they won't really tell you what exactly it is. They want to keep the secret sauce to themselves, per se. So it's been, for those of us who are out there and tracking and trying to get a W in any form or fashion that we can, we're not being helped right now. It's getting a little tough.
Are you asking for help, or was that your plea?
I'm always asking for help. I mean,
the last one was just like you wrote down any dad shoe, and I was kind of wondering like, what do you mean like any dad shoe?
Oh, any dad shoes? Mm-hmm. I mean, I like a lot of the dad style. You know, I'm not probably going to go jump on a pair of Air Pegasuses, you know, anytime soon.
No,
but the chunky look, you know, I got a couple pair of Yeezys, especially when he went to the 500s. And had that weird kind of like alien chunky style bottom. I like that, you know, and it's just the look it's in, you know, it's not a lot of shoes that are coming out now. Look at PJ Tucker did what he's doing with his collab with Dolce & Gabbana.
Fancy.
It's kind of like a skater chunky shoe, you know.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it, but it's just, you know.
But I can't decide if that's because I like PJ Tucker. I can't separate the two.
Once you're a rocket for life.
Okay, I mean, and he's from Houston, right?
No, PJ's from North Carolina.
How do you know about Texas?
Because of Rick Barnes.
Oh, okay. Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
So you ready? You ready now that we threw out fluff? You ready for like the tough questions?
Let's do it.
So like I was thinking about this the other day, especially I was going to have you on and like something I'd like want to talk to you about and stuff. And I know that like through the pandemic, like, I mean, there was just, there's so much shit like going on, you know? and you had a very true, like you had a very true to yourself stance. Doesn't matter what it was, but like you held fast to that. Yeah. And I admire that you made a stand. You said, hey man, this is what I believe in, and I don't care what y'all think.
Yeah.
I mean, and that takes it. I mean, it really takes like a lot of balls. You know what I mean? And so I'm sure that made relationships hard with some of your friends, you know? And so I was just curious of like how you handled that, and how do you find like how are you finding balance between like your views and then like maintaining your friendship? Because I think like there's a lot of people that struggle with that. Mm-hmm. And I knew I could talk to you about it, and you would tell me kind of really how you feel, and maybe somebody else feels like that.
Yeah.
You know what
I mean? That's interesting. I'm still working through that. You know, there's, I think for a lot of people that I've talked to recently have talked about not just friends, but even family members, and some of the stresses that it's put on those relationships with people. You know, and it's made people have to reevaluate what they're willing to accept from the people in their lives, you know, and how much they're willing to let go of things that they might, for somebody that's not really, really close to them, they would typically not keep that relationship or let it go. You know what I mean? And when it's a family member or somebody really, really close to you, you can't necessarily just be like, all right, done with you. So you have to kind of figure that out. And it's been a struggle. I mean, some of my closest relationships really got tested, and haven't still been the same, you know? But I think the way that I deal with it is leaning on the relationships that I do have, that where there's no strife and struggle. And kind of, I'm an internal person, so I take a lot of the stuff and keep it internally. But when it comes out, it's very pronounced.
I mean, you know, I know firsthand, you know what I mean?
It's I'll keep things to myself for a long time, and then it's just going to come out. And there's really not a lot of filter at that point. There's not a lot of filter with me for most things, you know?
So I would assume like that what you're saying is you're trying to find like I would assume you don't like those outbursts. I don't think so I would assume you're trying to find like some sort of in between to be like you said with like a family member. Yeah. You can't tell them to go away. So you got to kind of, you know, find a way.
You can, but it doesn't typically work out very well.
Or, I mean, you know, like it's just not something naturally like, I mean, that's your tribe. If you grew up, if you have any sort of family, just period. Yeah. That's your tribe. You know what I mean? And it's real hard to just push them away. My dad was like, has been real weird, like through the pandemic. You know what I mean? And I've had to try to, you know, shout out to my dad, because apparently now he's going to listen to my podcast. He asked me today, like, hey, what's the name of your podcast? And now, I mean, you know, I guess I used the word weird, but it was his, like he had his views and I had my views. Mm-hmm. And we had to kind of respectfully to just agree to disagree and respect each other. And I feel like that in that moment, I became more of a man. And I think maybe, Dad, you can tell me, that he respected me more. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? I think up to that point, you know, and that's a balancing act with a relative. You know what I mean? So like, do you mind telling me about the family member? You don't have to tell me detail. You don't have to talk about it at all. But I mean, like, so how are you handling that is what I'm saying. You don't tell me details. Just like, what are you doing with that? Like, 'cause I'm assuming that's what you're talking about, right?
There's, you know, I'm very different from, for instance, my dad. My dad and I are extremely, extremely different. One, my dad is and I call him my dad, is my stepfather. And he's raised me since I was like 3.5. So he's the only dad I've always had in my life.
And you don't know your real dad?
I didn't know my real father. He passed away right before the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
And I found out about it right then, like right after. But
man, you never said that's God dang, you never said that.
That's a whole different bag. But my dad, who's raised me, very conservative guy, who's a military guy. You know, we moved all around the country growing up. Military guy, very conservative, comes from a very conservative family. And, you know, growing up, we batted heads a lot. But I've always had respect for him. And as we've gotten older, and as I've gotten older, we've both come to terms with who each other is, and we have accepted it. And we found out a lot about each other by doing so, that we have a lot more in common than we really understood, because we were always spending too much time, or at least from my part, I was always spending too much time trying to fight against him and fight against whatever it is he was trying to come across.
Was it more like you were busy defending your opinion and not listening and processing his opinion?
Very much.
Right. Like, and I think we spend a lot of time defending our ideas, and like the other person's not attacking your ideas. They're just coming to the table with their ideas.
Right.
You already know your ideas. So it'd be in your best interest to learn their ideas. Do you know what I'm saying?
I was not always that receptive to those things, though. You know, that's a growth thing. That's a thing that happens for some people at least. But for me, it's happened as I've gotten older, been more willing to listen to people and their side of things. Definitely don't agree, you know. But even in professional settings, you know, you got to understand, hey, your boss might have a totally different view on these things. And for your benefit and keeping your job, you might want to keep your mouth shut for a little while and just roll with the punches. Now, there's certain hills you might want to die on and things that you might want to stand for that can't be pushed aside. And that's admirable. And that's, you know, you're going to do what you got to do. But you've got to weigh those things, and you got to figure out, is this beneficial? What's the outcome of this? And when it comes to a personal thing, you know, there's a lot of attachment to people for whatever reason. And you give people more leeway. You kind of are more willing to listen, more willing to be understanding from their perspective of things. And I think that's all coming from growth as, you know, with age, with experiences, you know, that's just getting older.
Do you know what I realized the other day? I realized the other day, like, I'm doing this moderated podcast, talking about moderation, talking about trying to be more in the gray, living more in the middle kind of thing. I'm in the middle of my life right now. Like, at being 45, maybe I live to be 90. And so there's this very serendipitous feeling about like, oh, maybe what I'm kind of feeling and discovering at this midpoint in my life, in this middle I'm living, that I could share that with somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, go, well, what do you know, it's real easy to, like, again, to defend your opinion, but you really need to understand what the other person's saying. And like, we had a disagreement, 8-10 months ago. Right. But like, I just listened to you and you listened to me, and we kind of agreed to like, hey, whatever space each other needs, you take it. And at some point, like, we'll be past this. And that was such, and that might've been the first time in my life that I kind of just you came to me and I just like dove in it head. I was like, fuck it. Like, I mean, like I messed up. And so I was like, I'm not going to try to die. I'm just going to go right at it and just be real honest about it, or try to be,
I gained a lot of respect for you after that conversation.
But it's the same thing I was talking about with my dad. You know what I mean? I mean, people, I have a whole baseball theory. Like, Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens won't admit that they took steroids, so we won't forgive them. But every other dude that admitted to it, we don't care. Alex Rodriguez run around having sex with Jennifer Lopez or whatever he's doing. And we beloved him because he just goes, hey, I did steroids, like, cool, serves a suspension. And everybody's like, oh, okay, cool. And they're on to the next one. But Barry Bonds or Roger Clemens won't say anything. And so the people won't forgive them.
Yeah. I mean, that's a part of it. I think for our scenario.
Yeah. We'll move back in. Well, I'm way out here on left field. Baseball pun.
I got out what I needed to say. You certainly listened. There's not a lot of conversations that I've had with people that started the way it started, that ended as well as it did.
And that
many people. So
hey,
that's why when that conversation was over, and then a couple of days later we went and did something.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was literally for me it was a turning point. Like it was just I did something just a little bit different, and it's kind of a trust fall, right? Yeah. Like it's not natural to want to kind of just like I've said this before on the podcast that I'm 100% honest with Aaron about everything, and even if I really fuck up, I'm honest. I just tell her, because I would rather tell her and have her be mad once than to not tell her and then she finds out and then she's mad because I didn't tell her and she's mad about what happened. Mm-hmm. And then it's had time and like it's not good. It's better to just go ahead and be honest, because you're not going to solve anything if you don't do that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Fermentation
is only good for beer. It's not good for relationships. So
hey, say that like Barry White.
Fermentation is only good for beers.
There's girls listening to this podcast are like, I got to meet this dude. I got to see the video. They got to post a video of this guy. He's single too.
Yeah. I am.
Now, I'm not going to say he doesn't like being single. You know,
it has its advantages.
Okay,
it has its disadvantages too.
Oh yeah. Okay. So, we're going to pull something from the helmet. This is, an old news segment. I don't even know if it was a segment before, but we borrowed some questions from a particular game, and Joe brought up that if 8 people times 1,000 listen to this podcast, that maybe at some point they won't want us to use their cards, so we need to have other questions. So if anyone knows my girlfriend Erin, she is the queen of questions. And so I had to write a bunch of questions. I don't know what they are. Joe's read them. Joe, any?
So if she's the queen of questions, you would be the king of questions.
Oh, we should just call ourselves the king and queen of questions.
Yes.
Hey, you should hang out with us like on a Saturday night around 11. We're just asking each other questions as foreplay.
I can imagine.
I'm like, do you know what the capital of Ohio is? Yeah. She's like, ooh, say it like Barry White. All right. So here, I want to roll this up. I'm getting a whole thing. So I want you to reach in there. You pull it out.
All right. Fondle around for a little bit.
I don't know what. See. We're just gonna go with it.
What pops out here.
Okay. I hope it's good.
All right. What was in your high school locker?
You go first. Mine's so fucking boring, bro. Okay, so straight up, like it doesn't like. Do you have drugs in your high school locker?
At different times of high school, there probably was.
I think that's pretty typical of a high schooler.
When I started high school, I was pretty new to the area. I'd only come and done 8th grade here for 2.5 months. Basically, spring break is when I came in 8th grade, and it was one of 4 schools that I went to in 8th grade. And when I got to Pflugerville High School, I only knew a few people and started hanging out with a pretty rough crowd. Hung out with, as much as there was a Pflugerville gang, there was, your
little posse.
Those were the kind of kids that I hung out with. And so there was definitely some marijuana usage and some other things that we were doing.
Yeah, we're so crazy
as kids. It all changed though, probably my junior year of high school. I started hanging around a different crowd of people and paying more focus to sports and
okay, school. So we'll go, what was in your junior year of high school locker?
That would have just been like
books and shit.
Books and sports stuff and,
You ever have condoms in your locker?
I don't think so.
I didn't have condoms.
Probably not. I doubt I would.
Would you put like your athletic wear in there?
Some of that stuff, but we had our football locker to put that stuff.
Of course,
so,
right.
What do you think?
Did you put like pictures up in like the door?
I want to say yes, but man, it was so long ago.
Did you put like girls' notes and shit?
That was probably some notes from my girlfriend in high school. I had a high school sweetheart for
Okay. Do you have
the second half
do
of
you
high
have
school.
one cool locker story? I have a cool locker story, but I'll let you go first, and then we will move on. I want to talk a little bit. I want you to tell your shoe story.
A cool locker story. I can't honestly think of any cool locker stories other than we had this. So in our high school, we had like a senior hall. Did you have like where all the seniors had their stuff? You know, and then you had
our school was so small that like the seniors just their lockers were on like in like the middle or something like that. Like we had one building. We had one hallway. I mean, like I had to like this is fucking like a thing. You had to go and the seniors would make the freshmen have to sing like on the E, like in our like we'd have to sing the alma mater or whatever. I don't remember. High school was blur. But the captain of the football team, shout out to Winky. He won't listen to this. My mom had him in school or something like that. And like him and his friends kind of like came and like saved me. They kind of like fucked with me and then they saved me, which was like really cool. Like, you know, so maybe my mom was a fantastic teacher and she shaped lives. So shout out to my mom that's probably going to listen to this now because my dad's listening to it.
The whole family's joining in.
Oh, I mean, can't wait. Everybody's going to disown me.
I think when I got to high school, I had the idea like everybody's going to be so much older, you know, like what you would see on TV, and they were going to throw you in lockers.
Like Degrassi or what?
I guess, you know, I had these ideas that like they're going to shove you in a locker and, you know, you're going to be stuck in there kind of stuff. And that stuff never happened.
Well, bro, those lockers are small. Like you can't shove nobody in a locker.
Yeah.
My books barely fit in there.
I think I saw too much Saved by the Bell or something growing up.
Yeah.
Thought those things would happen.
All right. Hey, pull another one, but then this time read it like Barry White.
Let's see.
I might just change the name of this episode to Barry White or like some hip. I'm going to put Barry White's name into that hip hop generator. And that's what I'm going to change it to.
Yell out the first word that comes to your mind right now. Podcast.
Jesus Christ. Mine was road because I looked straight at the mic boxes over here. Marcy. Out of Marcy.
A lot of mercy.
Okay. So I told you to wear. Hey, Joe, do you know where our time was? 32 minutes. Okay. Did you check your camera and make sure it didn't turn off? Okay. Well, hey, I'm just like, you know, just checking in, bro.
He's on top of it.
I know it's past 30 minutes. It would have already turned off by now. Everybody knows that, Joe. I told Norm to wear shoes with a great story. And if we have enough time, I'll tell my great story.
Yeah.
And so everyone knows that's listening. He's wearing a Bread 11. It's top 5 shoe for me, like all time. It's an incredible. It's probably one of my favorite Jordans. I just buy like I have like just so many used pairs of those fuckers. Like just because I just like the ones I painted,
yeah,
and you know to make those dirty breads and stuff like that. I just look for them on eBay, and if I can get them cheap enough, I'm like I'm just gonna buy it because I'll paint them and then I'll just sell them. You know what I mean? Like if you could find a decent pair of dirty breads,
yeah,
what would you pay for that? Because so that shoe goes for about somewhere like 180, 220, and you can, but sometimes you can catch them in like some dumbass for like 130, something like that. You can catch them kind of low. So if I painted that into like a dirty bread, what would you pay for that? Pay $230?
Oh, you could easily get $235, somewhere between that and $250. Yeah. You know,
I would think
so. Yeah.
So
it's a highly sought after shoe for sure.
Okay, so tell your story.
Oh, so this shoe is special to me for many reasons, but I'll never forget when I first got them. So 1996. These shoes came out at the height of the Michael Jordan era. It was, you know, it was it. And when these shoes first got released, the Concords first came out, is what everybody saw. And it was a must-have for me, and I could not get my hands on these shoes. I could not get Concords to save my life in 1996 when they came out. And I want them so bad.
Hey, total sidebar. Such another amazing fucking shoe.
Beautiful shoe.
Yeah.
Like Tinker Hatfield killed it.
Shout out to Tinker Hatfield and all the cool shoes he made.
Big shout out Tinker. Big time. If you ever hear this, Tinker.
We sound like a bunch of fucking nerds.
You are seriously a
Joe. Hey, Joe just fell asleep.
Design god. And the amount of joy that I have had in this lifetime with some of the creations that you've been involved in. Big time shout out. So
I might just post the part about Norm talk about Tinker Hatfield and tag him and say like, hey, there's two guys in the garage just,
talking about
how great you are.
Yeah.
I hope,
this guy.
Give us a Tinker Hatfield. Did you Wikipedia? Give us a Tinker Hatfield fact real quick. Everybody's asking for it. Yeah. Just like, I don't know, his wiki. Just give him some of his wiki, just something. Oh man. Okay. What kind of, like, you told me I could just ask you to get a water. I have to get it myself. And you came sit there and look up Tinker Hatfield. I'm supposed to trust you to get a water.
I mean, he went as Jordan 3s through the 15s.
I mean, that's a hell of a run. Tom Brady can't even do that shit.
Yeah.
He went to the University of Oregon.
I had got that hookup. Holler if you hear me.
I think everybody that's a fan of Nike is going to go to that.
Everybody who worked at Nike went to the University of Oregon. He's probably friends with the dude that started it.
Yeah, probably. I would think the guy made him a shit ton of money. I would hope so.
Oregon's recruiting just went through the roof because the NIL licensing, they're getting.
Oh yeah, I saw a cat. Like he was supposed to go to another school and picked Oregon because of that, right?
It was either Texas or A&M where it was his big choices apparently, and he just got suckered in because he's going to have a Nike contract.
So this is just my opinion, okay? And then we'll get to your story. I promise.
Yeah.
So, as an example, Spencer Rattler came out with like his own logo and his own clothing line, and that's great for Spencer Rattler. Make all the money you can, my man. But there are going to be people that come out with shit that like nobody's going to give a fuck. Like nobody cares about your likeness or nothing. Like maybe you can put your name on a used car lot or something. I don't know, but like I just think that it's not going to. I think there would be certain athletes that benefit, but it's going to be like the really bigger name guys. I think there might be a second tier, but I don't think it's going to be as profitable all the way down as they think it's going to be.
100%.
Right?
100%. There's going to be a haves and have-nots for sure. And they're saying at this point that the schools aren't supposed to be involved in helping getting them licensed with things. The schools are supposed to stand back and say, hey, but we all know if you pay attention to college sports that boosters at certain schools are going to be knee deep into getting them involved in things. So whether or not you want to call it the school or not, the school's involved. These boosters that are heavily involved with the school are going to be making these things happen. And two of the biggest points that were brought up today when I was listening to talk radio was that Miami and Oregon both were already prepared for this. They were already starting to get the ball rolling. And because of their alumni and the resources that those two specific schools have, you're going to see a lot of things happen.
Hey, do you want to see like a badass Miami team in Alabama?
Oh, why not?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I would love that.
I mean, I think college football is better when the Blue Bloods are doing good.
Yeah.
We all know who they are. I'd love to see parity though, too. I like to see the underdog come, the Boise States of the world come out and beat people. That's always fun. Yeah. Or anybody that beats Oklahoma. So that's cool too.
What time is it, Norm?
Yeah. It's a little after 8:30 and Oklahoma still sucks.
Yeah. All right. All right. So tell me, so you were telling your story like that this shoe you was sought after and because we're talking, I got you sidetracked on the Concords.
Yeah. So the Breads, when they came out, after getting denied the Concords, and just vowing to make sure that I was going to be able to get these Breads, I made friends with the manager of the Foot Locker at Lakeline Mall.
Smart move.
And I reserved these shoes, talked to him and told him I wanted them. And the day before they got released, I showed up to the store and I told him, looking forward for the drop tomorrow. I'm gonna make sure I get mine. And he's like, well, I got a surprise for you. I'm gonna let you buy them tonight. So he let me buy them the night before. And this is when they were released on Tuesdays. And so it was a Monday night. He let me buy the pair, but he made a huge deal about it. He's like, look, you can't go walking around the mall in these shoes. You got to go home. Put them on all you want once you leave here. But if somebody sees you wearing them around here and finds out that I sold them to you the day before, I'm going to get in trouble. I was like, oh, no worries. No worries. I'll go straight home. As soon as I got in the car, I was putting these shoes on my feet. And I walked into school on that Tuesday morning with them on my feet already in my whole Jordan outfit. I mean, I was head to toe Jordaned out.
Well, you have like a jumpsuit?
I had some Jordan track pants and a Jordan t-shirt with these breads on. And I walked into school and I just started hearing it. Ooh, Norm's got those breads. Look. Ooh, how'd you get those shoes already? It was kind of a big deal. And there was one other person. It was a girl. I remember there was a girl that got them too. And she was walking around. So there was I forget what her name was, but so-and-so's got them too. It's like, how'd y'all get those shoes? And I was like, I got my ways. I got my hookup. And so I was king dingling for a day that I got to have those before everybody else. Cut to about 2 weeks later. And anybody that had the first edition of those patent leathers can probably attest to this. They creased so easily.
Mm-hmm.
And they started creasing. And I was so worried about the patent leather breaking. And I looked down and started to get a crack in it. And I was terrified. And I went home that day. And this is how you can tell that I was just an idiot kid. And I got super glue.
No, you did not.
I swear to you. I got super glue. And I tried to put it at the end of a toothpick and try to dap it down just to make it stay, right?
Hey, and let's tell people there's no internet at this time.
No, there was no YouTube. There's no any kind of tutorials whatsoever.
This is just pure
whatever
child engineering.
That's it. Total kid engineering. Well, to make a long story short, I got the toothpick stuck to the shoe.
Oh, fuck. I thought you were just going to tell me you messed them up. You got the toothpick stuck?
No, the toothpick got stuck. And when I tried to peel the toothpick off, it peeled off patent leather.
Oh, my heart hurts.
Oh, so I had to have been at least 3 to 4 weeks after the release. And I got the shoes already. And I went back to Foot Locker. They sold out. They were sold out. I wasn't going to get another pair.
Yeah.
But I went back to him and I showed them to him. I was like, man, they're all messed up now. And I'll tell you, this dude was super cool because he was like, look, I can't. The Jordans are gone, man. I can't get you another pair of these. They're gone. He's like, but I'll let you pick something else in here, that's of equal or lesser value, and I'll give you those instead.
Man, shout out to that fucking dude for being so nice to you.
He was cool. He was cool about that. But you know what I picked?
Okay.
You'll never
guess
this shoe.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm gonna ask a couple questions. Can I do a little, just 5 questions and see if I can guess?
I'll give you 3 questions.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
1996.
Okay. Was it?
It was a basketball shoe.
All right, I'll take it. Okay. 1996. Was it a Nike?
It was a Nike.
Okay.
It's so obscure though, you'll never get it.
Was it? Oh, I mean, what am I not try?
Try. I'll be impressed.
Give me a fucking second. Was it a Jordan?
It was not a Jordan.
Oh, then that opens it wide fucking open. 1996. That's the NBA Finals against the Sonics.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And it's a Nike. Can I have one more? Give me one more question.
Sure, go for it.
Okay. Was it like a PE?
It was a PE.
So it was a player edition?
Mm-hmm. Well, it was a specific player's shoe.
It okay. You can answer this question or not. I can go. Was it called? Was it like his name or his nickname?
No.
Okay. No, this is it's not going to be a good get. I would have one more. Hey man, like talk to Joe. No,
Have your fifth question. Go for it.
Okay. Was the guy in the NBA finals?
Yes.
Fuck. Was it the air up tempo?
It was not.
Fuck. So did they call, was that called the Air Pippin? And was it even that year?
I think that was that year.
Hey Joe, can you grab him?
I think I
appreciate it, buddy, but like you don't need to be in all the shots.
Carlito.
You know what I mean? Thank you. I didn't even realize he was still in here. And then when you were like kind of trying not to get him to make noise, I was like, God, Joe can hear that all the way through the door. And then I realized he was still in here. Anyways, okay, so what shoe was it?
It was the Dennis Rodman.
Oh, the Numbstruck or
the
whatever.
Indestruct.
Oh, because this is going to be my next question. Because I already established it in the finals, and then I was going to ask, were they like on the same team? Like, was it like, well, I was like, is it on the Bulls? So these are the shoes I'm going through.
Yeah,
I'm going through like whatever
glove,
whatever Kemp's wearing. Right.
Like the kamikazes or whatever.
Kamikazes.
Yeah.
Not, anyways. Okay.
Yeah.
Off of boring, like, stuff.
Did you get the white ones with the red bits of air on it?
No, that was the up-tempo.
That's the up-tempo.
Oh, that's what you got.
No, I got the Dennis Rodman.
They're called Numbstruck. I actually bought, when those re-released, like
Numbstruck or Indestruct?
Indestruct.
Indestruct,
like yeah. I got those when they re-released, like.
Did you?
Yeah, and then I sold them. I don't know why I got them.
I was so disappointed with that shoe.
Mm-hmm. The Concord version of those, are those the ones from Space Jam?
No, the Space Jams are the Space Jams.
No. But the ones he wore in the movie, he wore the Concords in the movie. Yeah. Straight up. I just watched it the other day.
He had to go back to his house to get them. Remember, that was like his thing. Is I have my shoes. And those were the shoes that they got.
Hey, I just watched it. I promise.
But in the game, he wore the Space Jams.
In the finals against the Monstars,
he wore Space Jams.
He wore Space Jams. But when he was warming up and shit or whatever, when he just first got there, and he's like, what am I supposed to do with this team? Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah,
like, it's gonna be like the fucking Bulls all over again. I got to carry the whole goddamn fucking team.
Yeah.
And we got fucking Bill Winnington on the bench, like that old grandma.
Bill Murray.
Yeah, Bill Murray. I mean, how did Bill Murray, like, how did he end up there?
He's his golfing buddy.
Oh, that's right.
He's from Chicago.
Okay, so yeah, I didn't watch it like that close. What are we at time wise, Joe? Oh wow. Okay, well, I guess I'll kind of tell a sneaker story, then maybe we'll just we're starting a new thing with you're the first person to get to do this.
Okay.
So and it's kind of just a thing we're gonna do from now on. And just I don't know. But here's my sneaker story. So this kid, I'm wearing a Travis Scott 4. So look it up.
Oiler Blue Baby.
Yeah. So this is the Houston themed podcast because Norm's from Houston. We do Houston things. I'm wearing Earl Campbell.
H-Town.
Hey, do your best impression of like Big Mo.
Of Big Mo?
Yeah, or like purple stuff.
That's
pretty good.
In my cup.
Okay, so anyways, and I also have a theory that I'm just going to kind of run past you, and this is a great shoe to do it with.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have this shoe dead stock. So what's that like? It's like 1,200 right now,
something like that. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So
at least 900.
So I'm real like Norm, we talked about maybe a little bit earlier, like when you have such a valuable shoe, it's hard to kind of like wear it because you're just like, as soon as you walk out the door like a car, it loses value. Right. So my new thing that I've been doing is just trying to find, when I have like a real expensive shoe like that, I try to find a very near dead stock at the cheapest price I can, because it's already been worn and it's already lost that initial value. Right. So this particular shoe I got off of Poshmark. So this kid was selling this shoe for $550. And I was like, I'm not paying like $550. And so I watched it and it went down. It's like $400. And so I messaged him and I said, hey, would you take $330? And he was like, no. And I was like, okay, well, thanks for answering my question. Right. So then he drops it to $350.
So,
so then I offered him $330. And I said, I think I messaged something like that. And he sent me a message like, he goes, stop wasting my time with your questions if you don't want to buy it. And I was like, all right, bro. Like, I'm just trying to buy this. I'm just trying to buy this shoe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Trying to give you something.
I mean, I'm trying. So anyways, long story short, he eventually dropped it $330. I bought it and now I have it. And I was just kind of like, I knew what the shoe was really worth on Poshmark. Poshmark is weird because, if it's over a certain amount, they authenticate it.
Yeah.
Right. And then you ain't trying to maybe you are trying to run fakes through there, maybe not, but I mean, and so it's a good place to buy and like the fee that's taken out when you're selling on Poshmark is so heavy. Right. And people know that, so they're trying to kind of leverage this and stuff like that. But you just can't get that same amount they can that eBay. They can't get that eBay money on Poshmark. But it's a great place to find shoes that people just kind of need to get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I got my Travis Scott ones. That's how I got my shattered backboards. That's how I got these. Right. So I got these shoes for $330. So now I have the shoe. I still have the dead stock one. And if I sold it right now, I'd make $900.
Yeah.
That's my profit.
Easy.
So my theory is it, and it went back going to, we were talking about your shoes cracking and stuff like that. I got to believe now you don't feel that way anymore. Right. You have found a little bit of peace of that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to wear your shoes, right? They're supposed to crack.
These are all cracked up.
Yeah.
I got cracks all over these already. This is because these are 10 years plus now, and I've just wore the shit out.
But I just think that that's why I decided to wear those Dunks is because it's right now, one great thing that Erin has brought to my life is she's a very in the moment person. And she has taught me when we were talking about just having to moderate my life. I was so intense, right? And she would just kind of touch my hand. And she'd go, "Why are you flexing?" And I'm like, "I'm not flexing." She goes, "You are." And I would look at my arm and I was tight. I was tense. She goes, "You're always so tense." And she kind of started talking about the things that matter and the things that don't, the things you should worry about, the things you shouldn't. And I think that I brought a level of, structure and a little bit longer term thinking, obviously, because I impregnated her and then we had a baby. So now we're thinking forever.
Yeah.
Right. But I think that I brought her some stability and a little bit forward thinking. I think we balance each other out like that. And it feels really good to kind of float here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
that's the benefit of meeting somebody and being with somebody who, accepts you and is willing to work with things on you and to work together on,
And it's not easy.
No.
It's not easy fucking up and telling the person, like I said earlier, it's not easy fucking up and then tell them hey, I fucked up.
Nothing worse shit really is easy though. Nothing that's valuable is just easy. It just.
Well, I just decided that, you hear I was watching LeBron James in the shop and he talked about how
great show, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, it's just interesting. It's just interesting to hear people talk that maybe I don't even really know a lot about. Yeah. I mean, some of them I do and some of them I don't. I just kind of listen to all of it. And it feels like a pretty genuine conversation.
It's always accomplished people though. That's the thing that obviously draws people to it is that, famous people. But I like a lot of the questions they ask and trying to delve into, what made you asking about situational things like stars who were in the finals or whatever, what made you be able to get through this? Or,
But they all say a very similar thing. They all say a very similar thing that when they realize like what mattered and what didn't, right? When the closer they were to being in the moment at all times, you know what I mean? They were able to process information and just move forward with it, not remember the last shot you missed, like kind of stuff.
Sure.
Like that kind of just moving with your thoughts at the same time instead of trying to staying too far behind or moving too far forward, thinking too far,
Yeah. Being in the moment is important.
Yes.
Okay.
So, this is the we're not going to call it the one big question because I feel like that's already taken. I don't know. We'll call it something later. But what I wanted to ask you is
delving deep.
Yeah. What do you personally do to like moderate your life? Like, what do you do? Like, are you into doing like yoga, meditation? Great. Yeah. So like,
that's it.
Yeah. We took inner engineering together.
We did. I've taken a lot of things still to this day. I don't do my Shambhavi every day, but I still do my Shambhavi on the weekends. I think something is good, Yeah, I do meditation every day though. The app Calm has actually been very good for me.
Yeah.
In the mornings I get up and I do my stretching routine and I meditate. It's become a regular thing now. And when I have days that I don't, I can tell the difference. I can tell a difference in my reactivity to things.
Yeah. How you react to stuff.
That's the main reason why I did inner engineering in the first place. Is that was the one goal that I had and it's funny because with meditation, you have to kind of let go of these goals that you have on it because it's about accepting the situation, accepting the moment, living in it, dealing with it, respecting it, accepting it. Like all these things are part of it. And I learned that every time. It's something that's reinforced, especially in the app. It's just allowing things and, settle in the moment, accept it, move past it.
Have you used a lot of that with what we were talking about earlier, like with your family member and stuff?
Yeah. For everything.
Yeah.
I try to. I still haven't.
Hey bro, nobody's doing it perfect.
You know
what I mean?
And I catch myself, but that's the thing about meditation, that it's allowed me to catch myself. Like before, you just go through the motion of it. And then maybe you have a regret of the situation, or maybe you have a feeling about it, or whatever the situation might be. With meditation, it's made me consciously look back at situations and reevaluate and think about how to do it better next time. Because the moment's passed. You can't live in it and just dwell on it. But you're probably going to encounter certain situations again, or maybe the exact same thing again, depending on what's going on.
More than likely, you're going to come across it again.
Probably.
Because of maybe the people that you attract,
Life is cyclical.
The environment that you stay in, or whatever it is. So like if you have a problem in some certain way, it's probably, even if you recognize it as a problem, it's probably already happened more than just once.
Definitely.
Do you know what I mean? And so like if you're recognizing something as a problem, then you're kind of like, okay, I want to pay attention to this. Like why is this happening? You know what I mean?
That's been the biggest benefit, is to be able to slow down enough to, one, recognize that I need to recognize. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
So once you start getting these things brought up and consciously recognizing them, you go through your day and you're like, oh, wait a minute. That's one of those things that triggers me to,
but it didn't
get angry. But here's how I'm going to react to it now.
Yeah.
That's growth. And it feels good once you get in that situation again. And you've been able to deal with it a lot better. Do you
know what I feel like when shit like that happens? I feel like Tom Brady,
just
like the Tom Brady of life.
Just dropped one in for a touchdown.
No, but you're just like
been there. I can do this.
And I've kind of talked about this before. Like in the Jordan documentary, I feel like the way that Tom Brady plays football, they are in every moment. They're in all the time. And that's why they're so great, because their memory is long where it needs to be and short where it needs to be.
Sure.
They're living in this ever flowing, moving forward, knowing what you want to do moving forward. How do you want to attack this defense? How do you want to attack the basket? Knowing that there are options back, knowing that if I don't get this one, it doesn't mean anything about the other ones that I might or might not get. Like, it's all separate. And I think that living in the moment mentality is just, would you agree that it's freeing? Like, I feel free.
Definitely.
I feel like that. Like, I have the ability to be a good person. I've never felt like that really before. I never felt like I had this ability, but I thought it was kind of going to be, I don't know. Like, and so, but I feel like now I just like, I can recognize.
I think those are two great examples of people who are also very prepared for things, prepared for what was coming up. Like,
but that's what the app's doing, is preparing you for those situations, right?
Yeah. It's cyclical. Like, those athletes have been in those situations over and over again. They've shot that shot 1,000,000 times to prepare for that moment. Tom Brady's run through that play 1,000 times, waiting for it to be able to execute it exactly the way it's supposed to be done. We're all in life situations that we probably encounter multiple times and have failed to, execute the situation the right way, or, react the right way. And if you have the ability to cognitively recognize those things as they're happening, it's like a play slowing down. Like, when those guys say that everything slows down for them, the same thing in life.
But it feels so great.
It feels good. You're like, this is so easy now. Like, I've done this. I know how this is going to go out if I react this way.
Right.
And now I have the peace of mind, or the ability to recognize
but you have to flex that muscle.
Yeah, that's it.
Right. And it's
practice.
I was telling one of my friends, like, he was like, man, like, I feel like that I'm not a very emotional person, like, and I should show more emotion. And I was like, well, bro, like, if you want to show more emotion, like, you have to work it out, man. Like, you have to actively try to show more emotion.
Yeah.
Like, you have to train like you would train any other muscle. You know what I mean? And I think that balance is important. Recognizing I have this flaw where I'm not a very emotional person, and where's the balance of that, of like the proper amount of emotion that I need that feels good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't feel uncomfortable about your emotions. It should feel very natural in who you are and who you want to be, kind of thing.
Yeah. So you don't want to cry at a drop of a hat too. So.
Well, I mean, you know what? Like, I was telling Matt came on a couple weeks ago, or last week, whatever. And I was telling him the other day, I just spontaneously started crying at work about my daughter. Like, I was just like, oh fuck. And I just, and it was really weird, and so I think there are moments where that's like, now I didn't just like fucking ball up and just like, but I mean, I shed a tear.
Yeah. That's normal.
Hey, can we have 1 minute? I'm 1 minute over? 2 minutes over? How close am I to 3 minutes? I'm just kidding. Okay. So, let's do this. Let's end on a hopefully less serious note. Let's get you to pull one more thing, like, out of the helmet.
All right, let's do it.
And then we'll end this thing. And hey, everyone that's not a sneakerhead, thanks for sticking in this far. I appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, hopefully you gain some like sneakerhead knowledge.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given? Jeez, that's
Hey, I can. So let's not do best, but I can do a really good one.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to do one first?
No, you do it first.
Okay. And this is actually, I think this came from Joe's mom. I think that's where it came from. Joe is probably, for people who don't know Joe, he's my art producer / photographer / videographer / personal paparazzi /
personal fireman /
a bothering for everything every day. And I thank him and pay him Chipotle and Liquid Death Mountain Water. So I don't know if y'all guys have had this, but it's fantastic. So anyway, so Joe is just probably one of the most solid dudes I know. And I don't remember how I asked him, but basically I was like, how'd you just get all this common sense. and he said the most simplest thing. He goes, my mom just told me to make good decisions. And I really thought about that a lot, especially like now having my daughter. And, you know, I'm sure that Joe's mom at points had to save him. I mean, every kid has to be saved, but it did give him a level of like openness and responsibility and trust that's important, I think, with a child.
Yeah.
You know, and I just thought that was like, I mean, I took it in a really good way, like is how I want to kind of raise my daughter. And I just thought that was just fantastic advice. Shout out to Joe's mom. Joe's mom's got it going on. She's all, I don't even know how it goes. She lives in Maine and she's been there for so long. Joe, can't you see? You're not the one for me. Did I mix up like Joe? Did I get Stacy's?
I think
that all Stacy's mom.
That's Stacy's mom. Yeah.
Put another song.
Pretty
in there.
sure.
Okay. Do you want to tell what's your best piece of advice, and then we'll wrap this?
I think, well, two things. Best, you know, obviously people tell you be yourself, and I think that's very, very true. I think honestly, you should always try to be yourself.
But can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
You have to figure out who yourself is.
That's a huge part of it. Huge part of it is figuring out who you are, liking who you are.
Yeah, and so figuring out who you are and who you're not.
Yeah.
Right. And then being okay with who you are and who you're not.
Yeah.
Right. I know what I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's like Eminem and 8 Mile. In that last rap battle, he basically puts himself down and then says, hey, man, tell these people something they don't know about me.
Yeah.
If you know everything about yourself, nothing can hurt you. You know what I mean? And anyway, sorry. So, yes, be yourself. I think that's fantastic.
Like yourself. But I'll always throw this back to my grandpa, who gave me 2 strong pieces of advice for life.
Say it like Barry White.
Son, there's 2 things you never do in life.
No, wait, is that your grandpa or is that Barry White?
That's my grandpa said to me.
Okay. But are you saying it like Barry White?
I'll try to say it like Barry White.
Wait, do you want to say it first and then say it like Barry White?
I'll just do it all one time.
Okay, cool.
Son, there's 2 things you never do in life. Never disrespect a woman and never, ever root for the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, strong advice.
Strong advice.
Oh, what a great ending.
Man. Yeah. What a great man. Miss you.
Norm, man, thank you for doing this.
Dude, this was really fun, man. I really, really appreciate you having me on.
I mean, like, are you just like, when we turn the mics off, are you going to go like, man, like my back hurts?
No, this was really, really fucking cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's what I want it to be. I want it to be really cool.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was nervous. I wanted like mine to be good. You know, I wanted to have good content and us have a good time. And it definitely was that. So I appreciate it.
Well, you know, what's really weird is like, there's been I would say, did Matt say he was nervous? Matt, did you say, when you're listening to this, did you say you were nervous? Don't call me when you're listening to it. Just I think Matt was nervous. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, but I was like, I don't know what you're nervous about.
It was excited nervous. Like this
morning. Oh, that's great then.
This morning you gave me a text. You were like, dude, I'm so excited. And I was like, dude, I am too. I was thinking about this last night. I was just pumped. I've been excited about this all week. So
yeah. And just so you know, I felt like a huge turd when I had to cancel in that first time. And then you were like, but bro, I was so excited. And I was like, man, I'm so sorry.
No,
like and I felt bad about it. So I was really glad to like get you and okay, I'm wrapping it up. Jesus, man.
Great time, man.
Yeah. Great time here.
Appreciate it, brother.
Give me a big old hug. What are you talking about?
My back.
Thank you, dude. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.